something.
Hey guys, welcome to the Omniverse of Nick and part 8 to What If Cliffjumper Survived. Now, like always, before we get into today's episode, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the Omniverse of Nick so you can help me grow up this channel, get more awesome stories pumping out, and you don't miss anything to come to this channel in the future alongside your own what if stories and reviews and discussions that may come to pass. After you guys do all that stuff, we shall get into the next part of Cliffjumper's tale. Now, in the last episode, Optimus is back thanks to Cliffjumper and RC through quick wits and thinking and bravery. Optimus officially pronounces Cliffjumper as his second in command, not knowing if Ultra Magnus is out there or anything, but he holds Cliff now in the highest of honor for what he's done, pretty much. After that, it goes kind of the same for a minute. The spark extractor is still retrieved, bounced around, and that episode plays out the same. And then we get to the episode where Silas kidnaps Bumblebee, or knocks him out and steals his T-Cog, and Starscream meeting Silas. Except, this time, whenever Starscream meets with Silas, it's not just Energon and T-Cogs that Starscream presents to the table with Silas. He presents synthetic Energon. Now, he does say while he is nearing the end of his synthetic route, he wishes to present it to Mech and Silas as a tribute to him teaming up with Silas. And he says the effects that it has, but the great effects that it can have if they use it the right way and forward it with T-Cogs and bio knowledge and all that. Pretty much his whole spiel, except with Synthen involved. And this actually makes Silas hold Starscream just a teensy little bit more as an ally, because before he didn't give a frick about Starscream. Meanwhile, Bumblebee chases Knockout, who still gets his shield, and then we get to the entrance of the Forge of Solus Prime, which Bulkhead gets blasted in the back by Megatron and it's still stolen. Then we get to the scene where Starscream would originally threaten blowing up Bumblebee's T-Cog and then ending up shooting it anyway, but a more Synthen look on him with this deviation. But just before he's about to shoot it or Bumblebee's about to react, he gets knocked down to the ground with the T-Cog dropping undamaged. Starscream, Synthen, looks angrily at who did this. It was Cliffjumper. He has come by himself at this point to rescue him instead of Ratchet or anyone else coming right away. He sees this and has heard about it as the perfect way to really lay into Starscream. Cliffjumper is fueled with fire after so long of failing to get rid of Starscream, and all he's done, no matter if he's helped out or not, he just wants it over. And even with Synthen, Cliff is able to hold his own, because now with a new sense in Team Prime, Cliff is much better of a combatant and knowing how Starscream operates. And he holds out just long enough before Starscream can get an advantage to where Starscream, he runs out of Synthen finally. And his eyes go back to red. And Starscream, after noticing this and Cliffjumper taunting him pretty much, possibly not even noticing, Starscream knows that he is now very vulnerable. And Cliff, he could very well beat him. And with the T-Cog now there, but two bots blocking him, he just tells Cliff and B, but mainly Cliff, that this is far from over. And that day will come whenever he finally extinguishes Cliffjumper's spark. And with that, he launches a rocket at both of them and just flees the scene. But the T-Cog is remained unharmed when Starscream is approached by Silas and Mech, tased, and then his T-Cog is taken, like cannon. Bumblebee's T-Cog unharmed means that without Ratchet, it's still okay, because he could still use his T-Cog. He could just put it back. And after that, we get the debut once again of Wheeljack, but the full debut of Dreadwing. And the entrance to that playing out the same, except Cliffjumper is there to hear about Dreadwing fully, possibly could know who he is, and hearing about the death of Sea Spray, and which would probably hit Cliff hard. I feel like he would know Sea Spray more than Dreadwing. But the episode overall plays out the exact same, except Wheeljack would hear about Ratchet's death by Starscream, which he would kind of be upset about. Kind of hard to know how Wheeljack would feel at this point without, like, not really going on missions with Ratchet too much, but I imagine he'd be still upset. We then get the episode of Arachnid betraying the Decepticons, with Dreadwing and Breakdown out on the mission, and Breakdown still getting his butt killed. After that, Starscream getting encountered in the mines with the Insecticon and Arachnid. Cliffjumper and RC get another signal with an embedded message with an injured Starscream. Once Starscream brings up his whole excuse that he used in that episode, RC and Cliffjumper are even more on him than the first time, and at this point they're just done with Starscream, especially Cliffjumper. And they mentioned Bumblebee's T-Cog and Ratchet's death and everything, and just to prove how much they don't care, RC just aims her blaster, just instantly ready to kill Starscream. But Starscream then mentions the fact that he doesn't have a T-Cog anymore, and maybe this is some kind of revenge that he honestly has already been put in a position he can't do anything anymore. He doesn't have a T-Cog, and his Synthen's out, so isn't that enough? And he's really not a threat. And this actually makes Cliffjumper laugh, because if he didn't know before, this actually proves that no, Starscream really isn't a threat, and they just go about their business. After that, Megatron encounters the Insecticon in the mines, while Arachnid and RC have their scuffle, and Arachnid traps RC. But just before she's about to strike RC, Cliffjumper comes in guns blazing, and that's right at the same time that Starscream launches his rocket that he did. And this, with both of these attacks at the same time, neither knowing of each other being in the same area, this actually gravely injures Arachnid. And she was already injured prior. And when Starscream shoots the second rocket sliding down the mountain, this injures Arachnid to the point that she can't move. Like, she is literally stuck in place. She can't drill. She can't fly away. She is stuck there at the mercy of Scream and Cliffjumper, who, when they notice each other, aim their blasters and are ready to attack each other. And Starscream is just exasperated at this point, continuously running into Cliffjumper and the Autobots and having troubles, and it's just going on and on. And he mentions his T-Cog and everything, and that he's really not a threat. Why is he still being targeted? But Cliffjumper, obviously now seeing this, knows that really Starscream just played them all. And Optimus already said it before he went to go help RC. And he just prepares his blaster, once again fueled by the resolve, to terminate Starscream, remembering Ratchet and just the fact that Starscream's been after him since day one. But this distraction allows Arachnid to get enough strength to drill right behind Starscream's back. And honestly, Starscream really doesn't care, because he just sets his sights on the Autobots, particularly RC, who's still webbed up. Cliffjumper aims his blasters and says that if you even think of touching RC, there won't even be a spark left of you when I'm done. And he holds firm to this. Starscream just ignores it, aims his claws right at RC, but like before they went to save Optimus and get his memory back, he just claws her down and just walks away, considering them even on multiple accounts. Because at this point, RC, Cliff, and Starscream have spared each other on like 4 different occasions. And the Autobots and just everyone just go about their business, literally. We then get the debut of Nemesis Prime, Silas, and all that, and that episode plays out the exact same way, except Cliffjumper is there to fight the Nemesis Prime, but he's not able to do anything like Bumblebee and RC and Bulkhead. But yeah, he's just there as an extra backup. And Silas gets crushed under the rubble, severely injured, but soon to be alive, as we know. Fowler gets interviewed, and that episode plays out straight after. Bulkhead still gets stuck on the Nemesis during the mission, except one big thing here. One big thing. Bulkhead is not going to run into the Starscream clone, because the clones were brought up sooner, before this whole ordeal happened, way before. Starscream is just chilling at the Harbinger, just waiting out his next move, basically. So, that's one less threat that the bots or the cons have to deal with, even though the bots didn't really deal with the clones in canon, they did in the story. But you guys get my point. But that doesn't stop Arachnid from unleashing her Insecticon horde, which does still happen. And Cliff is there to help out RC and everyone else take out, or at least try to take out a good amount of Insecticons and chase Arachnid into the hive where all the Insecticon stasis pods and all that stuff is. And since she was so gravely injured not too long ago, they are actually able to literally outmaneuver her straight away. And RC, she just goes straight up to Arachnid and kicks her, with Cliffjumper blasting her into the stasis pod, with Bulkhead in the end attacking the main part of the warship, and that whole Dark Energon episode starting to play out like it did in canon. But Cliffjumper and RC, through quick wits, small Synthen knowledge, and just maybe even a little bit of it left, and just their partnership growing at a point where such things are like barely a threat to them, are able to escape stasis. But now, they don't know what to do. They're the only ones who are not in stasis. But Fowler is still with them, the only human, and he opts to go with them, or even on his own, to the warship and get back Megatron and like the warship, you know, that whole plan that Jack, Miko, and Raphael did. And they succeed, with Cliffjumper and RC being in stasis at the warship, but Fowler able to actually get the deed done, and all of them are taken out. But when Knockout begins to regain consciousness, Cliff, instead of Ratchet, shoots at him, and that whole thing plays out. And after that, we then get to relics, more of them, with Knockout and the Insecticon encountering RC and Cliff instead of RC and B. And then we get Dreadwing and Optimus's encounter in the Arctic, and Optimus being able to snow in Dreadwing with the Avalanche and apprehend Starscream. And when they're waiting for Fowler to get all the humans out of where the relic is, and Starscream's basically like taunting humans and talking this, that, and the other thing, Optimus is even more angry and actually hits Starscream a few times for the death of Ratchet. And no matter what he's done or how many times he's spared Cliff and RC, that is inexcusable in his case. And it's even more so from when Cliff died. But Starscream still gets his hands on the Apex armor, and forcing Optimus and Dreadwing to team up and force Starscream into the water of the Arctic, with Dreadwing still deciding not to join Team Prime, even if Optimus was less inclined to do so just because of what he's dealt with, a much different Optimus. But now, we get to something major. Wheeljack and Ratchet's eventual encounter with Soundwave, but there's no Ratchet. Who will go with Wheeljack? How will more encounters with Starscream go? Will it end good, or will it end even worse?
Why am I asking you all these questions?
find out in the next episode on the Omniverse of Nick. You guys didn't think this was the end of the video, did you? Well, the Omniverse of Nick has a new feature. A sneak peek at what's next to arrive.